Welcome to Season 2 of Digging Deeper Ag Chats with Al, the podcast that brings you timely and practical stories straight from the paddock. From sowing to shearing, fire to flood, and everything in between. We're here when it matters most. Each episode taps into real experiences, expert voices, and grounded advice that helps you stay ahead on farm. I'm Alistair from the Gippsland Ag Group, a grassroots farmer-led network in Gippsland, focusing on soil, grain and fodder, pasture and livestock. We're here to support producers in building resilient and profitable enterprises across our region. So let's dig in. Welcome everyone to Digging Deeper. We have another special guest in with us today, and that is Lily McCole. How you going, Lily?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad. Now, straight off the bat, I'll say you're a reluctant guest here today.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you coming in, thank you. So the reason that you're in, apart from the story you're going to tell us, is you actually recently ran an event for us, which we'll talk about later. Did a fantastic job, and you've actually gone viral on social media. And so we actually want to jump.
Say that.
Well, I think last night I checked, you're up to over 200,000 views, I think. So
I think it's reached America for whatever reason, but it's just very random.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Yeah.
briefly just tell us what why you did go viral on social media.
Oh, it's just recapping of the Youth Agritech Expo and how it went.
Yeah, which you ran, didn't you?
Which I ran this year. Yeah, about a week ago. So I was just talking about that, and yeah, it just went viral sort of a little bit. I don't know if you'd say viral, but yeah.
Well, 200,000 views and counting is viral in my account, and so we thought we'd jump on the bandwagon and strike while the iron get you on, because you've also got an interesting story in its own right, and we'll talk about that Agritech Expo a little bit later on. But firstly, tell us where you're from and what growing up on a family farm was like.
Yeah, so I'm from Swiss Creek, and I really enjoyed growing up on the farm and just being outside every day, being with animals. You spend a lot of time around animals growing up when you live on a farm.
What animals do you guys run up there?
So mainly sheep, and we have a few cows as well, but yeah, mainly sheep. And we're just sort of more gone to crossbreds. So growing up, I remember we used to have a lot of merinos, but now switched more to crossbreds.
Do you know the reason why the family made the decision?
Yeah, wool prices they've gone down a lot. So just the effort in employing people and the effort it takes at shearing time and stuff like that, it's just not really viable at the moment to have a lot of merinos, because you just don't get enough profit from the amount of work that you put into them. So, yeah. Yeah,
and how many sheep do you guys run up there roughly?
Roughly around probably 3,000.
Yep.
That's very rough. Yeah, so we've got property in Brookville, and then we've got another property off the highway past Swiss Creek, and the one at Brookville is about 700 acres, and the other one we call Carroll's is about 600 acres. So, and then at home where we live, we've got about 100 acres of river flats where we live, which is in Casslis, and then Mum and Dad lease a fair bit of land as well around the area.
So that farm you called the home farm, have you grown up there your whole life, or is that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so tell us a key memory of growing up in, what do you call it, Casslis?
Yeah. Well, my key memory, I'd say, from the farm, it's probably when we did shearing time at my grandparents' farm. So not really, it is still at Casslis, because we just live down the road from them, and all my cousins coming up and running around eating all the stuff, and then running out of the shearing shed and not having to do any work. That's probably one of my key memories that all me and my cousins remember, is just the shearing time in the spring. As soon as it hits spring, you remember, just reminds you of shearing time. So, yeah, and I got a lot of memories from the farm, and just being around animals, lots of dogs and horses. We've had special dogs, along the way. So, yeah, we've always had a lot of dogs.
Mainly working dogs or pets as well?
Oh, we've got a few pets, but we've got about probably 8 working dogs as well. So, yeah. Yeah. Too many.
Yeah, and you ride, do you, as well?
Yeah. So, yeah, I've ridden my whole life. So.
Yeah. Any stock work on the horses, or is it?
Yeah. Oh, we used to a lot more, and now it's just we don't get enough time to to, for one, have the horse quiet enough to be able to do it, and then floating around, and just sort of run out of time, and it's easier sometimes just to get it done. But yeah, I used to do a lot of stock work on the horse and droving sheep and cattle.
Yeah, I love the idea of working stock on horseback, but I've actually fallen off more horses than I've ridden, so I'm more of a motorbike person myself. But
they're more dangerous.
Nice one. Now, what are some of the big challenges running a property up there? You have multiple properties, and a lot of it is quite, it's rough. Actually rough country. It's
very rough country, yeah.
Yep, and often miles from anywhere. So what's some of the difficulties that you guys face up there?
Mustering's normally a pretty big job, and luckily my parents, especially my mum's, been brought up in that country, so she knows what it's like, but it's very different from mustering around the flatter country. And you need a dog that can be able to get a sort of like a mob of 3 sheep out of the bush and be able to do that, which not many dogs can. So you got to have a good dog, and you got to know the country and know sort of where the sheep camp and what times to go out and to muster, because quite a lot the sheep will be hiding in the bush and living there, and then they go wild and they're hard to catch them. But yeah, just having the rough country, it's a lot different from farming to down here, and you got to do things differently. You got to have easy doing animals as well. So
yeah, what's a typical day look like when you're mustering, bringing sheep down?
A lot of walking.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So my mum mainly, she'll walk anywhere, and I try not to as much. I try to drive and then walk, but she'll walk anywhere. She'll walk the whole way, and she won't drive with Dad if it's steep. Dad drives pretty much anywhere, places he shouldn't, but she won't. So she'll just walk. And yeah, if we're using the horses as well, because they can go anywhere. They can go places that obviously a motorbike or a buggy or a car can't really go. So they're very suitable in our country. Yeah,
they'll be quieter too a lot of the time, I guess, too. Then.
Yeah.
So you guys not only run commercial sheep, but you've got a little stud you've started up recently. Or how many years have you been doing that first? And then what type of stud is it?
So we've been having the sales for, this will be the 3rd year now. And before that, they've been doing it for probably longer than I can remember, just starting off with the breeding side of things and selective breeding.
For themselves, like rams for themselves?
Yeah, for themselves, and then started sort of selling them in the paddock to other farmers around the area that were interested, and then we just had a lot of interest, so decided to start up a sale, which has been pretty good for the last 3 years.
Yep. Now those rams, am I right in saying that they're a white Suffolk South Down cross?
Yeah, so they're white Suffolk South Down crossed. We mainly have white Suffolks, but we have a few mixes because the South Downs are pretty chunky little rams. So
they look like little pigs with hair on them.
Yeah, they're very different looking, but a lot of people like the South Downs because they're quite smaller, so they can put on fat and muscle quite easily, and then mix with the South Down. Sort of takes out if the South Downs can be too big and not easy doing enough for especially our country. So they're just sort of bred for country like around where we live, and so they're commercial. So they're not. We don't breed them for other studs to buy. They're bred pretty much for fat lambs.
Yeah.
And for people around the area or people from wherever, if they're interested in selling fat lambs and getting them sort of having them easy doing, and they can put on fat quicker and get them out to the sale and not have them around for ages.
Yep, they finish off really quickly. Don't always grow as tall as some of the other breeds, but they definitely finish very quickly. Yeah,
and they're sort of bred as well to be just not having to pull a lot of lambs, try and breed them so they don't have trouble with their feet, and we've had pretty good feedback so far from people who have bought them. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because I was talking to your dad the other day, and he's interested in putting some lambs in the Gips lamb trial that's coming up here at the research farm, and so if anyone is interested, there should be a group of 10 of those little critters running around late spring, summertime.
Yeah, we have just had genomic testing done as well for some figures, which we haven't had before because it's more of a commercial thing, not a stud thing. But a lot of farmers like to see the figures as well, and it's just interesting for us to see it. So
Yeah. And have you got those results back yet?
No, that was just yesterday. Actually, Maddie came up and did that for us.
Right. And so what's that process involved?
So I think it's taking a blood sample of their DNA,
Yeah,
and testing it and seeing their genetics.
something we're in the process just on our farm of actually changing ram breeds just purely because we want to be able to pick from the ASBV genomics type. The place we were didn't provide that, so I think it's actually a really smart move to go across there, because as we learn more about it, it becomes more and more valuable in the industry.
Yeah.
Okay, now I don't know if people actually realise we didn't mention your age at the start, did we, Lily?
No.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
Yeah, so when I pulled up at work one day and there was a red P plate, I actually parked across the other side of the car park because I thought, crikey, I don't know. This person's only just started driving, but you're only very young, so what you've just come out of school, I'm assuming, last year, is that right?
Yeah, last year. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you go to Swiss Creek High School, is it called?
Yeah.
Do you have friends from down in town here?
Yeah, I know a few people from down here. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the question was going to be is, do you notice a difference between farm kids or kids that don't come from property?
I think it just depends a bit on how you're raised, but I think a lot of the time farm kids are more hardworking. Not in all cases, but like I said, it depends how you're raised. But just, a lot of kids from the city especially don't have an understanding of things. And I'd say a big thing is they're not able to have a conversation with someone that's maybe older than them. They're sort of surrounded by their own friend group and only talk to people that are their own friend group. So for them, maybe starting in the workforce would be a bit of a change, where for me and my friends, you're sort of surrounded by people that aren't your own age your whole life because there's not many people around.
Yeah, well, you mentioned before that your early memories of shearing in the shearing shed with your cousins, and obviously there's shearers there and rousies and classes and all sorts, so you'd be rubbing shoulders with those guys from a very young age, I guess. So.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you're missing out by not living in a big city?
Not really. I feel like they're missing out by not living where I live, to be honest. I do like shopping and all that kind of stuff, but I wouldn't be able to live in the city. I'm not a big fan of it, so not really.
Yeah, well, half my siblings are in the city and I love going to visit them, but after about half a day I'm ready to breathe some clean air again.
No more than 2 days, and I want to,
Yeah, and it's so expensive down there too, I noticed. Yeah. I always spend so much money. Even just to park a car, you have to pay money. So you grew up in Swiss Creek. Have you ever had a desire to spend more time around Australia or overseas?
Yeah, I would like to travel overseas, definitely. But since, growing up on a farm, I sort of become a bit of a homebody and you're very attached to your animals and stuff. So I'd probably struggle too, but I definitely would love to go to America and Europe and travel outside of Australia. Yeah. I know a lot of people say do Australia first and then go, but just to see other cultures would be really cool, I think.
Yeah, well, we just got back from Vietnam, my first ever trip overseas, and it was mind-blowing actually going to another culture. So if you get the opportunity, I suggest you do. All right, so we'll move on back to the work side of things. I understand that you work in a few shearing teams or different sheds around the area. How did that all start off? Is it just because you were involved in shearing as a youngster?
Probably mainly because my dad and my brother are both shearers, so I stupidly was obviously interested in rouseabouting and wanted to learn how to do it, and then just started going around with my dad when I was probably started about 11, so I don't really remember. But, working for a few of my dad's friends and people that you've known since you're little, they give you an opportunity to start at their shed and teach you a little bit, and then it's just sort of went from there. And then people hear that you rouse about and ask you to go to their sheds because there's definitely not many rouseabouts around. So
what's your favourite part about rousing?
I think it's very rewarding because it's a hard job, and definitely the food. Yeah. A lot of sheds, there's just really good lunches and smoko, which is great.
Do most sheds still provide smoke?
A lot of them do, yeah. Which is really good because I think that's something that sort of like shows from back in the day how it was a little bit cooking. The women sort of cook and then all the shearers have the food and everything. I don't think a lot of industries are like that anymore, but I definitely appreciate it being a rouseabout because the food's always very good.
What's the best shed for food? Name them.
There's quite a few, but I'd say Kevin and Mandy's.
Last name?
Mandy Dean. Kevin and Mandy
yeah.
Dean's. Mandy's a really good cook.
Yeah.
I'd say Darcy Fitzgerald. So Grace, his partner, does the cooking, and she's always got probably at least 7 different slices every smoko, which is really good, and always a dessert after lunch. Simon and Rowena Turner's always have really good food, and there's definitely a few that there's a lot more.
Yeah,
but
it sounds like you get looked after really well.
Yeah, you do.
Have you ever picked up the handpiece and how to go shearing?
Yeah, I am learning slowly, but it's quite hard when you sort of do a bit and then a few months you don't, and then you do a bit again. You sort of learn really slowly and you forget a little bit. But I know how to probably shear half a sheep.
Yeah. Is it something you want to pursue further, or is it?
Yeah,
you just
definitely.
Know?
I want to know how to do it, but I never do it for a job. So,
yeah.
No.
Yeah, she's tough work. So
yeah,
I've got a shearer mate, and he said work's actually starting to dry up a little bit. Of like, a few more people are getting out of the industry. I don't know if it's the same up your way, is it?
Yeah, because there's not many shearers. There's still a bit of work in the season, which is around now.
Yep.
But in the off season, there's no work, and there's definitely a lot of people have gotten out of sheep. It's just sort of lucky that there's not as many shearers as well, that there's still work for people who want the work. But yeah, there's definitely not as many people in sheep anymore because it's just so hard to get shearers, and then you have to pay them quite a bit, and you just don't make enough off the wool.
What's the going rate at the minute, do you know?
I think it's around $4.50.
Oh,
I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, that's what I was paying last time I paid a shearer. So.
Yeah.
Now, this question will be interesting for your answer, but as a young female in a mostly male environment, have you faced many challenges in that industry?
I haven't personally.
Why do you think that is?
I think because around where I am, everyone's just very supportive, and I've always been around people that are supportive. The shearing shed, as long as you're not lazy and you want to have a crack, they're always very nice and treat everyone very well. And yeah, I think I did work experience, and the people that I worked with were always so supportive and nice. And growing up, my mum was a farmer, so I never sort of thought of it as a male-dominated industry or thought that it's weird that I'm a girl in farming, because to me it was just normal. I think I've been very lucky because I've never really had anyone treat me differently because I'm a woman. I've seen a lot of people think it's good that you're doing what you're doing because you're a girl and support you.
Yeah, it's good to hear. That wouldn't be the story that everyone has, I guess. So.
No, I think it creates probably issues if you are in a job where you have to tell a man what to do, or maybe tell them that they're wrong. And then I think not all men, but some men probably wouldn't realise, but I don't think would like being told what to do by a woman. Yeah. So that would probably create some issues.
Yeah, especially if there's not that relationship there of knowing each other very well. So now you did mention your favourite thing in the shearing shed, but it wasn't part of the job. What was your favourite part of the job in the shearing shed?
My favourite job in the shearing shed's when I'm lucky enough to get to pen up with my own dog, because I love being around my dogs and I love penning up. But at most sheds, I only normally get to do that at my own shed. Yeah. So most sheds I'm just stuck on the board, which is my least favourite job and probably the hardest job other than shearing. So I'd rather do anything other than that, I think.
Yeah. Be a full-time penner up at one day maybe. Do you see yourself as a future in the wool industry, or is it just going to be something that you always be part of but not pursue it 100%?
I see a future in hopefully farming, not in the sheds. I'm hoping to go away from that, but I always want to have my own farm, and whether wool prices go up or not, I would like to have merinos and have a shearing time and have wool. Yeah. So yeah.
Now you've worked multiple jobs since finishing school, it sounds like. How have you found going from full-time student to now full-time worker? Do you miss those days already?
I'd probably say I wasn't really a full-time student. I've been working for a while. I've done a lot of work while I was at school. But in regards to missing school, I actually do miss school quite a bit because it was pretty chilled out. And I did VCAL, so it's good having time with your friends and just sort of not having to worry about work so much. But I haven't really been working a whole lot more this year versus last year because when you're in VCAL you have 2 days off work experience anyway, and then I had a lot of time off to do rouseabouting. So, yeah.
A smooth transition. Now, over lunch one day you mentioned that you're interested in real estate. Is that something that you're still keen to pursue?
Yeah. So I'm studying my Cert 4 in real estate at the moment. So I'm hoping to do that in the future.
Yep. And how long is that till you start working in the industry? Do you know? Have you done a time frame?
No. So I would like to start now, but it's just sort of hard living in Swiss Creek and having to try and make the transition of moving out of home. And that's sort of what's stopping me. And I'm not in a rush to get a full-time job for now because of that. It's a big commitment to move out of home and leave all your animals and then having to pay rent and pay for groceries. It's not easy or cheap. So.
Yep. So you'll have to move to, say, Bairnsdale or somewhere down the line, you think, if you want to?
Yeah, that's why I'm studying it at the moment. So I'm doing what I can at the moment. So I'm studying it online. To get a job and to get the actual experience in real estate, I'd have to move down here. Yeah,
rightio. So outside of all your shearing and animals, what other hobbies do you have on your weekend, or what do you do for downtime?
Through footy netball season, I play netball every weekend, which I really enjoy. For
Swiss Creek, I'm assuming?
Yes. Yep.
Didn't make finals this year?
No, I've never made finals. I made finals once, I think, and then we lost at the first final.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, probably shooting and fishing, riding my horse, just relaxing, spending time with my friends. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, we're going to move over onto the Youth Agritech Expo, like we mentioned at the start. How did you actually become involved in that when you started?
So I had a few people from Swiss Creek Futures mention it to me and mention that they think I'd be a good fit for it. So that's how I heard about it, and then I came down and did a job interview, and then I started, and sort of thought it'd be good to try something new and speak to new people and have a bit of a new experience, different to what I normally do. So, what
did you find about that experience? What did you realise things you didn't know, or was it pretty much what you were expecting?
No, I definitely realised a lot of stuff I didn't know, and I wasn't really expecting anything coming into it. I think the main difference from this job to what I've been doing is the language, and how people speak is very different, and how people present themselves is very professional. And I struggled a lot with understanding maybe language that people use as well. Yeah,
there's a lot of industry buzzwords, isn't there, that you got to learn. So
there's a lot of fluff.
Yeah, that's right. We won't tell some of those people that do like to use those fluffy words. Now, you had a mentor as well along the journey. They organised a mentor for you in Nat Jenkins. What was it like working with Nat?
It was really good working with Nat. She's not
very fluffy, is she?
No, which I enjoy, and she's obviously very good at what she does and has a lot of experience in it. So having her helping me I wouldn't have had any idea what to do without her and a few other people's help. But I really liked working with her because she's very direct and to the point, and knows what she's doing. So
yep.
And she was always there when I needed help. If I needed to ask her a question or anything, she was always happy to help, which was good.
Now, just talk a little bit about the actual expo. What was the main purpose of the expo, and what did the actual day look like?
So the main purpose was to show students how many industries there are in agriculture, and to show a sort of different side of agriculture that might capture people's attention that they normally wouldn't be interested in ag. and show how technology is helping agriculture now and get more people interested. So we had, I think, 4 hands-on activities. We had TAFE, Gallon, Gippsland Tech School, and Gippsland Dairy.
Yep.
So they were showing things like TAFE had a lot of vet stuff, but then they also had microscopes. Gallon had VR and robotics. Gippsland Dairy had headsets, and they were obviously, educating people about the dairy industry.
Who had the back end of a cow there?
That was TAFE.
That was TAFE.
Which was really good. So I wanted to have something on preg testing because I thought that was a good way to show how technology is involved in everyday farming now. And I thought that was really, students really captured their attention. So.
Yeah, the mixture of growth and excitement at the same time
Yeah.
for them. And so you organised all these guys to come, didn't you?
Yeah, so I had a bit of help, but yeah, I organised them to come.
Yeah, and how many students did you get on the day? Do you have a record of that?
We had around 200. So we did have registered, I think it was around 120 registered, and then we had a lot more show up on the day, so we counted.
Yeah, because that was one of the
200.
options too. The kids could just rock up on the day, or parents bring
Yeah.
kids and things. So, no, it was a really successful day, and lots was going on. Would you do something like this again?
I'm pretty open to do anything in the future, just depending on what I'm doing, where I am. Probably not for a while. I found it a lot of pressure, but it ended out good, and it's rewarding to see students on the day and everyone having fun as well.
Yeah, well, when I saw you walk in and you were introduced to me, I thought, crikey, this girl's got a lot in front of her, because it's such a big thing to organise and for such a young person. But just from Gippsland Ag, we got to watch your journey, and you did a really good job, and the day was successful. But it does take a lot out of you, so you do need a bit of downtime as well.
Yeah.
So if there was someone else that was interested in having a go at something like this, what advice would you give them early days?
I'm probably not the right person to give advice, but I would say just don't be scared of annoying people, because you can't be, because you have to annoy people to get them to be involved.
Yeah, that sounds like advice that Nat might have given someone. Okay, so we'll move down to the last little bit. You said you want to own a farm one day. You've just been through the Agritech Expo. What excites you most about the future of agriculture in your next 10 years, I guess?
Probably if the use of technology, if it's used in a way to make agriculture easier and more viable, because at the moment agriculture is not very viable, and it's sort of hard to think of something that excites you about agriculture in the next 10 years because it's not looking great at the moment. But the more that technology will be involved, it will become more affordable for farmers and more used in their everyday life and make things easier, which is good. And then we can sort of see what goes on behind the scenes a little bit more with genetics and with everything like that, which is really important. You might, just after your genomics testing, you might be a genomics boffin in 10 years' time, Lily. You never know. Maybe.
Okay, now the last question that we have, which I did send to you, so hopefully you got something, but what is something that you've learnt recently that surprised you? Probably surprised me on the day how the students were actually interested in with the activities and interactive stuff, just because I know what it's like trying to get teenagers, or not even just teenagers, but any students interested in stuff, because a lot of the time they're just interested about their school drama and their everything else going on in their life. But it was actually, surprising to me that they looked like they were having lots of fun, so that was good. Yep, there was genuine excitement on the day, and a large part goes to you, so well done, and thank you very much for coming on Digging Deeper. You've done a great job, and hopefully this goes viral too. Thanks. A big thank you for tuning in today. And remember, if you have a question about today's episode or a topic you'd like us to cover, reach out to one of our many platforms and join the conversation. We're here because of your passion and commitment to agriculture. Together, we can build a stronger farming future.
This podcast is made possible by the Future Drought Fund Regional Drought Resilience Planning Program, co-funded by the Victorian and Australian governments.